All right, what's going on, everyone? We're live. How you doing today? Today is the 31st of January, 2019, last day of the month, right? Last day of an eventful movie month. It's been a very eventful month here. Not only for this channel, because I really enjoy doing this every day. I love talking to you guys. It's actually a really good highlight of my day. But also just in general. Yesterday, there was an insane amount of news that dropped, and to be fair, I probably covered way more of it than I should have. I should have separated a little bit. I should have divvied it up a little bit. 9 stories is what we went through yesterday. 9 stories, and damn, I will fully admit that was probably far too much. Today, thankfully, not as much. What we have today is, I believe, just 1, 2, 3, 4. Only 4 that I found that were interesting. If you guys come across anything that you want me to cover, we will definitely talk about it. Just send me an email. You can do that over 3bucktheater@gmail.com, or you can call in with a voicemail question at 818-350-3281. That's 818-350-3281. And today, since we're going to be going through everything pretty quick, it's going to be good to get to the Q&A stuff. I feel I regretted that about yesterday. I really did. I felt bad for not spending more time talking to you guys, because I try to cut it at 6, and I got to be a little bit too late with it, but it's all good. I just want to make sure that all my articles are prepped and ready to go, because I was just finishing up doing stuff for the Mundane Matt page, which is the other full-time job I've got here on the YouTube sphere. But that's fine too. No, that's going to be too big. Pull that back a little bit. All right. I don't know why I'm on Bleeding Cool. I hate this website, but it's fine. No. Okay. And that's good too. Okay. Cool. Let's give it a minute to talk to everybody. So yes, Chris, the suspense of whether or not I'm going to show up today. No. I will let you guys know. For those of you who don't know, like, who want to keep up what's going on, you can follow me on Twitter. You can follow me on Facebook. The links to social media are right there. Let me move it this way. There we go. Those are good places to follow me. And you guys can definitely do that. And so, because I'm going to be on tomorrow night, finishing up the week. That's kind of my thing. I did a full 5 days this week. I'm feeling pretty good about it. I'm feeling really good. I just sucks when there's days where, like, you have so much going on, and then the next day there's just really not much going on today, it feels like. Let's see here. Do I have time to read? Yes, Rachel. Yes, there will be time to do voicemails and email. Lunith, yes, Discord is very much the best. For those of you who want to become a patron, there's a special patron Discord. You guys can come and talk to me directly. I am in the Discord every day. I may not post as often as some might like, but I am there. There was a lady who joined up this morning and wanted to ask me a question about something, and I didn't get to it until like a little later, and then she left the server, and I'm like, all right, well, I can't do much about that, can I? Yeah, it would have been easier to digest in smaller bits. I agree with you, Lava Fox. I agree with you. It was a whirlwind hour. It was an insane hour here on the thing. All right, so there are some questions. Okay, real quick though, and I thought about making this as its own video, but I don't think I'm going to. Ben Affleck is Batman. I think we got a lot of information wrong last night. I feel we got a lot of information wrong, because all he is not playing the Batman. It's not that he's quitting Batman. I think a lot of people misinterpreted that. We actually never got a full confirmation that he's out. He's still executive producing the movie, so he's still heavily involved with Warner Brothers. As Grace Randolph said in her video about it, the two's fortunes are intertwined, which is very true. So there's something like that to consider. Let's see here. Gorge on movie news. Yes. Gorge on movie news. Do it. You know you want to. Okay, just want to give us a couple more minutes to let more people jump on in. The Twitter has been notified. The Facebook has been notified. And then also to let everyone get the notification. Also, this is telling me that the settings are off. Is everything looking good on your end? Things looking fine on your guys' end? Because it's telling me here that things are just are not as good as they could be, which is just kind of ridiculous. I will, because I have to do the standard shilling. If you guys do want to help support the channel, you can always submit through Super Chats or streamlabs.com/MundaneMatt. There's a great way to do that as well. So, but again, not required. I'm not going to charge you guys to talk to me. Not a big fan of that, to be honest with you, but it's out there. All right. Cool. 5 minutes in, got 50 people watching. That's good enough for me. Let's jump into the first one here. So, I had to hit record. I forgot to hit record. July, something bad happened, right? Something bad happened. James Gunn ousted from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, fired mere days after turning in the first draft for the movie, a movie that should, by all intents and purposes, already be in production right now, finishing off the trilogy that he started back in 2014, finishing off the arc of those characters, opening up the door to the MCU cosmic in ways unbeknownst to us, but known to James Gunn. It should have happened, but unfortunately, this is where we find ourselves. This is where things are, and this is the world we live in. And I'm telling you guys, it's a sad world. It's a sad world. I have campaigned now for over 7 months for the rehiring of James Gunn at Disney. And I knew it would never actually happen, but that didn't mean I was going to give up hope that there would be some justice in this world, some justice to befall James Gunn to allow him to continue on his career without just being completely overrun by people going like, did you read his tweets? Yes, the handful of tweets that he put out in 2012 were stupid. No one's denying that, but that's where it's at. It's not, but I just want to point out, there was a comment in a video I did the other day about this, and someone had said, but it was literally hundreds of tweets. No, it wasn't. It was like, I think I counted like 12. And if you live in a world where 12 now somehow equals hundreds, please don't buy any wooden nickels. All I'm saying on that front. But anyway, what we got last night after the podcast was over, I was so pissed about this because I'm done working. We got news. James Gunn is in talks to direct Suicide Squad 2. Now, this news had not, in fact, been public yet, right? We had all speculated because a couple months ago it came out that he would be writing Suicide Squad 2, not directing it. Everyone just assumed at that point that Gavin O'Connor was still going to be directing it based on a James Gunn script. And then we found out that Gavin O'Connor has moved on to other projects with Ben Affleck, who now has a schedule a lot more open, given that he's not on the Batman anymore. And but that left the door open. Who would be directing? Who would be directing Suicide Squad 2? And then, of course, they say, here's James Gunn. Now, Deadline says, as we reported back in October, James Gunn is not only aboard Warner Brothers' Suicide Squad to write, but he was also in talks to direct. The only new news today regarding the DC sequel is that the studio dated the title for August 6, 2021 release. Disney let Gunn go over his controversial tweets that predated his $1.6 billion grossing work on Marvel's The Guardians of the Galaxy franchise. Disney's loss is Warner's gain. Charles Roven and Peter Safran are producing. Word is that the pick is a reboot with new actors and characters. The 2016 DC title grossed over $746 million plus in worldwide and follows a ragtag group of baddies, obviously with Deadshot, Harley Quinn, the Joker, Captain Boomerang, and Killer Croc. And the thing is, I'm happy, very happy about this, but two, I'm also like not as happy as I would be, and I'll tell you guys why. I might be one of the few exceptions that truly liked Suicide Squad for what it was. I saw it twice in the theater. Yes, paid to see it twice in the theater. I have the soundtrack. I own the Blu-ray. I've watched it a number of times. I'm not a big fan of the extended cut. I feel like they put an extra Joker, which is cool, but it's like it didn't really flow. I felt the theatrical cut was just fine. I also really liked the characters. I really liked what David Ayer did. I liked his presentation of the characters. I found them to be fun. I found them to be engaging. And I really, really, really liked what we saw. And I was really hoping to get a bit more of that, a bit more fleshed out with more time in between the films and not having been rushed to get it made. Because if you recall, David Ayer only had like 3 months to write the screenplay. He didn't even really get past the first draft before going into production. So that's something to consider. That's something there to consider in regards to Suicide Squad. It needed more time to flesh itself out. Now, James Gunn coming on board. This is the world we're living in. I would prefer Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, but you know what? Hey, listen, I understand that's not going to happen. All right. But at the same time, the Suicide Squad being a reboot is interesting because we can kind of see what Warner's is up to, right? Warner Brothers at this point in time is 100% going to capitalize on the Guardians of the Galaxy style. And they really want the goodwill of the fan base that was so vocal about James Gunn being terminated. They want those people butts in seats. And you know what? Here's the thing. I'm not going to lie. They're going to get them. Now, I watched Grace Randolph's take on this last night, which is actually how I learned about it. And she made an interesting point that I kind of want to discuss. She says that it's a bad idea to have James Gunn direct it, that it's a bad idea because James Gunn still has the stigma from the controversial tweets from last summer, and that ultimately what they should do is have him write the script, get another director to make it, have it go over well with the interviews and kind of play the PR game, and then bring him in for Suicide Squad 3 to write and direct that, which does make sense. I will completely agree with her logic. At the same time, I'm going to disagree because let him do his thing. The guy got screwed, right? Most people aren't going to care about the tweets. Most people don't care at all. It was the fact that some, not even alt-right media, this is the article is alt-right media got mad. Not all of them are alt-right, but what they were doing is they were trying to hurt people where they could. And we're living in this hyper sensitive world. And James Gunn was a victim of that. Roseanne was a victim of that. Absolutely. So I don't think people are really going to give much of a crap, to be fair, right? It's going to come up again. Obviously, they're going to be like, well, what about the tweets from back in 2012? He's like, I'm a different person now. Next. That's it. And here's the thing too. While commentators in like parts of the media might talk about it, in the entertainment world, no one's going to say shit. No one's going to care. This dude has got so much support, right? So much support that even you have top tier talent, top tier actors that are coming out and defending him. I'm not even kidding you. Let me bring up the tweet here because I came across this last night and I thought it was the greatest tweet of 2019 so far. So what you got here is Mags saying, hi, Disney Studios, Marvel Studios, please hire someone for Guardians of the Galaxy. I already vote Edgar Wright, Phil Lord, Chris Miller, or Taika Waititi, and will be happy to explain these suggestions. Edgar Wright responds, I'd like to throw in my suggestion too for James Gunn. Chris Miller says he'd be a good fit tonally. Taika Waititi responds with, agreed, at James Gunn would bring a fresh energy and style the first two films were lacking. And I fucking love that. I love that exchange because the amount of love that he's got from the industry, from his peers, shows that people know him, right? They know him. They know that these tweets were dumb. No one's defending the tweets, but they're defending him as a person. This isn't like a Bryan Singer situation where there's actual allegations of assault. It's just a dude being edgy on Twitter at a time when it was okay to be edgy on Twitter. That is the fact. But a bunch of these moral Puritans want to sit there and beat their chest over it. Oh, I'm outraged. What are you outraged over? Tweets. Really? From when? 6-7 years ago. Is it that big of a deal? Not really, but I have to be mad about something. It's the only thing that fuels my erection. That's where they are. And I personally am sick and fucking tired of those people. Because virtue signaling fucks cost a guy his career that was on a trajectory to define the next 10 years of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, all because you wanted to play some kind of moral authority over shit you care not for. Again, not Bryan Singer. Not Bryan Singer. There's a difference there. Jokes is jokes, not accusations of touching children. Get that through your thick fucking skulls. So I'm still a little bit sensitive over this issue. Still gets me a bit. Anyway, Gunn coming on board and tackling this project, I think will be fun. People out there will bring it up, but no one in the movie blogger sphere is going to sit there and really touch upon it, right? None of the press junkets are going to really bring it up. You might get an in-depth Hollywood Reporter or Variety, cover story on him where it's going to be brought up and it's going to be talked about as it was in 2012. No, not even 2012. It was in 2012 he apologized for it publicly. And then in 2017, he apologized for it again in a Variety in-depth interview leading up to the release of Guardians 2. So this stuff wasn't unknown. But because Bob Iger didn't want to jeopardize the Disney-Fox merger and the $71.3 billion he was going to be spending to get this stuff, I get it. I do. I get it. Okay, I get this business. But at the same time, money talks and bullshit walks. So the money, the 1.6 billion that Gunn earned off of these movies for Disney is what Warner Brothers wants. So they're probably going to go down that route for Suicide Squad 2, or sorry, The Suicide Squad. But the question here remains, are they going to let Gunn off the leash in regards to the type of content? Because when Gunn approached the MCU, he came at it from a PG-13, family-friendly, still going to throw in some masturbation jokes mentality. DC seems to be kind of going a bit more on the darker side. Let them go on the darker side over this and let them kind of battle it out. Let them do their thing that way. I wonder if he's going to be pulling up what he did in regards to Slither and regards to Super, which was dark as hell. You got also the Belko Experiment, which he wrote, which was a $5 million feature. I recommend it. That was violent and bloody as hell. Brightburn looks like basically Superman was a demon. And it showing you that he's got a darker side to him that he likes to explore from time to time. Will he be able to take these characters, these villainous characters, and take them on the anti-hero pathway to where they're not like good guys like the end of Suicide Squad, which was kind of trying to make it more like Guardians, maybe. But would it make it more like Riddick, where they're still the anti-hero? They still do the bad thing. I like the Punisher. You know, that's kind of how I view them. But look, anyway, I've been on this for too long. Let me just kind of finish it with this. For one, I'm a very big James Gunn fan. I'm very glad that he's got a job. I'm bummed that it's not Marvel, but I'm happy that it's DC. DC will be all the better by having him on board. This is a person who cares for his craft, cares for the storytelling, and cares about the audience, and wants to deliver a fun and good movie. I think we're going to get that, and I think it's going to be Marvel's loss is, in fact, DC's gain. And here's the deal. Here's the deal. I do feel that after DC gets him and he does the Suicide Squad, Marvel will probably hire him back. That's what I'm predicting. And at the same time, just because we're on the subject of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, according to Sean Gunn, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is still happening. Saying here that his brother Sean, who plays Kraglin, says Volume 3 is still on its way. Speaking with the Associated Press, Sean says, well, my brother is doing Suicide Squad 2 right now, which I'm really excited about, and I know he's really excited about. I don't know what's going on beyond that. I mean, Guardians 3 is going to get made. We're going to make that movie, and we'll figure out what happens there, but you know, everything ends up having a way of working itself out, I think. What does that tell you? What does that kind of tell you? It tells me this. They're going to make it. It's not going to come out for a while, probably 2024. My earliest, that's what I'm saying, 2024 right now. All right. 2024, 10-year anniversary, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1. Volume 3 drops. James Gunn will be the director. By that time, the controversy will have passed. His career will have been able to rebound, and they'll be able to bring him back in. I think that's what's going to happen. I think that's what's going on, because if they were going to get this movie on board to be made anytime soon and not have reshuffled their entire lineup, they would have already announced a director. But nobody in Hollywood wants to touch this property. Just like the Oscars, nobody wants to touch the property. So Disney's going to put it on ice for right now and then come back to it later on. And I have a feeling we're going to see it in 2024. Or maybe a little bit sooner. I don't know. But the Suicide Squad 2 comes out in 2021. So you got to give it a couple years of development and then shooting and post and all that jazz. So that's where I think that one's going to lie. So let's talk more about Disney, because that's always fun, right? They've been the fun ones of the year. They've been fun for a while, because everyone now is waiting with bated breath. What's going to happen with the Fox Disney merger? What's going to happen? When's it going to go on? When are we going to get the toys in the toy box? And by that I mean X-Men Coming Home. I mean, look, here's the thing. Disney's dropping $71.3 billion, quite literally, for X-Men. I mean, there's a catalog of stuff. It's The Simpsons. There's Bob's Burgers. There's all 11 seasons of King of the Hill, which is, I want to watch that again, by the way. So wherever I can find that streaming, please tell me. You know, all the Fox stuff, you know, everything else. That's cool, man. That's cool. But really, you know, they bought it for X-Men. You know they did. You know they did. Right? Like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Marvel cost them $4 billion in 2010, and it's already made its money back. God, 4 or 5 times over, feels like, if you look at merchandising in the films. So this $70 billion transaction will take a long time to get them back in the black, but it will happen. As for this merger, it says here, the Disney-Fox merger expected to be completed by June. The anticipated merger between Disney and 21st Century Fox is now expected to be completed June 2019. June 2019. Well, that kind of blows that theory, from yesterday out of the water, right? Where Wolverine magically appears at the end of Avengers Endgame, that somehow Wolverine makes an appearance showcasing that it is together. It is a harmonious, homogenous universe. At least that's what we want. But the likelihood of that happening, like I said yesterday, is probably slim to none. But at the same time, one could, well, yeah, I got a theory. I've got an X-Men theory, but we're talking about that. Now, the Disney-Fox merger has been in the works for quite some time now and has been much interest to those in the industry. Once the merger is complete, Disney will control a huge chunk of the box office. There's been many concerns about this deal happening, with some saying that it's so much of the film market falling under one studio will be bad for the future of the industry. There's still a lot of speculation, and what will happen to the industry once the merger is complete will be revealed soon enough. Although there were reports that the deal will be finished by March, it seems that it will be now close in June, as revealed in the new SEC filing. Whether it's because of delays or Disney being cautious in filing for the SEC remains to be seen. And then it goes on to talk more about the X-Men joining the MCU, as well as Fantastic Four and Deadpool. Now, there's been speculation that the deal is going to fall through. I keep seeing comments on videos where this pops up and people saying like, no, the deal fell through. It's not happening. And I'm like, what fucking world do you live in? What world do you live in where you're thinking this $70 billion thing is not going to go through? Like, I'm pretty sure at this point, like, Iger's got hitmen, you know, like positioned outside of certain politicians' homes, like approve it. You know, and then they go, I don't want to. And then he just goes, all right, G, you're up. And then you just hear through the microphone, whatever. I can't do a Goofy, but then Goofy's an assassin. That's the joke I clearly failed to deliver properly. It happens when you do this shit off the cuff and you're scripted like some people here on this platform. Kingdom Hearts 3, everybody. It's in stores right now. Goofy kills people. There you go. Spoiler alert. But no, this deal is going to be big. And I do understand the concern there. The concern of it owning a large portion of the movie theater box office, because Fox is not a small entity. I mean, it ultimately breaks down to 5 or 6 studios, right? You've got Disney, Sony, Paramount, Warner, Universal, Fox, and Lionsgate, and that's 6. Now you would actually want to kind of count that as 7 if you want to look at Netflix. And considering the fact that Netflix tends to have more content that is highly reviewed, we're talking like more fresh scores on Rotten Tomato than the people in the movie theater industry, the studios, goes to show you that there's a shift happening. People know that movies, while they're still earning a lot, are predominantly doing this through tentpole franchises and sequels and remakes and reboots and all that jazz that nobody wants. The sequels and the reboots, obviously, or the reboots and remakes. But streaming is where it's going to be at going forward, and it's going to be a huge moneymaker because it's a consistent earner. Netflix, 137 million monthly subscribers. How much money is that? That's a lot of money. I can't even think of it right now. So much money, I can't even think of it. Disney wants that. So what do? They drop to 70 billion. I mean, you figure if Netflix is pulling in at minimum $10 a month per person. Now, this is a base number. 137 million accounts is like $10.3 billion a month. So that's over $120 billion a year. Now, they're investing 15 billion into content this year. Like 1/10 of what they earn into content this year. And of course, there's marketing costs and admin costs and things like that. But that's where it's, I mean, Disney wants that. So by having Fox, they're going to be able to maintain it. So that's where we're going to see things go. Theaters are never going to fully die, but in the next 10 years, they're going to have to innovate in order to stay competitive, which is one of the reasons why Disney's putting out the money for this. So while the merger is a couple months off and it's not going to be there in time for Endgame to put in a cameo appearance, I mean, I'm actually not, if they do something to tie in whatever, to tie it together in Avengers Endgame, like, it's not going to matter. No one's going to sit there and complain to the SEC over copyright violation. No one's going to complain, right? Like, Fox is not going to sit there and legally sue Disney over using it. They're just not going to give a shit. Or if they feel that they have to from a legal perspective, because you have to protect your trademark in order to maintain that trademark, just the way it works, they could then file a lawsuit right off the bat. And then as soon as the merger closes, then they just cancel the lawsuit. Unless it has an impact on the merger. I don't quite know. I'm not a financial expert. I'm an idiot who talks into a webcam on TV. on the internet. That's what I do. But just to quickly to kind of end out this segment here, if it ends up going the way of June, then we could get that first cameo appearance, the one that we've been, I speculated on with the Baxter Building and Spider-Man Far From Home in July, because at that point, then it would all be together, which is what everyone really wants. So hurry up, goddammit. All right. Wheel of Time. This is a series that's the daunting series to get into. It is. I'm not saying that as a bad thing. I mean that like literally, like the first book is beginning, middle, end. It's written like a single standalone story. It's when you get into the next 13 novels past the first one, as well as the short stories, that you realize that the world in the Wheel of Time is immense, complicated, complex, and full of completely unforgettable characters, and characters that you very much come to love, and you feel very sad when bad things happen to them. So one of the coolest things that come out of last year, one of the stories that I feel is woefully underrepresented and under geeked out on, to be fair, is the fact that Amazon, after announcing the $250 million deal for Lord of the Rings, also announced the Wheel of Time series is coming. And it wasn't the only one. Anyway, we now find out a little bit more about that. Saying here, Amazon's Wheel of Time series description, production, and start date. I know, it's a very descriptive title. It's a very descriptive title. It's very to the point. I give Bleeding Cool the credit for doing that. Now, Amazon Studios' upcoming Wheel of Time series is getting closer and closer to kicking off production. As it happens, we've got a word of a possible start date for the show, and it comes from a notification via Production Weekly. So it says here that, as Tor points out, the production notification has a start date of September 2019 in Prague. And this is the description of the series. The fantasy epic is set in a sprawling epic world where magic exists, but only women can use it. The story follows Moraine, a member of the shadowy and influential all-female organization known as the Aes Sedai, in case you're wondering how it's pronounced. As she embarks on a dangerous world-spanning journey with 5 young men and women, Moraine believes that one of them might be the reincarnation of the incredibly powerful individual whom prophecies say will either save humanity or destroy it. The series draws on numerous elements of European and Asian culture and philosophy, most notably the cyclical nature of time found in Buddhism and Hinduism. So that's interesting for a couple reasons. And the article here does actually say the same thing I'm thinking too. The book does not center around Moraine, right? Moraine and Lan are awesome characters, right? Like there's a love there that's deep. And if explored properly, you're going to be like, it's a will they, won't they for the ages. It's like the Ross and Rachel of fantasy fucking literature. That's how I view Moraine and Lan. And Lan is a badass. He is a badass character. You gotta cast the right dude for Lan. And Moraine's pretty awesome too. But at the same time, Randall Thor is the dragon. So you gotta have, like, I don't know why they're going to make it about, why they're going to lead it around Moraine. I would argue that the reason why they're doing that is they're trying to play up the pro, it's a female-led series, right? That's why there's a line in there. Magic exists, but it's only wielded by women. And only certain women. And the Aes Sedai are them, obviously. And they're good characters. They're great characters, right? They're awesome. I love the Aes Sedai. And so that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking they want to make this a female-led thing because that's the narrative they want to through the adaptation. But the story is about Randall Thor, right? It's about Rand and his trials and tribulations to become the dragon, as well as his friends, Matt, and I forget the name of the other dude, but Matt's dope as shit. Matt's gonna be like, he's like the Merry and Pippin of this particular franchise, and he's great. Gets into a lot of trouble all the time. Always fun stuff, and the characters are all good. Wait till Ming comes into the mix. Ming is awesome, as well as Tom. If I remember, I think the traveling, like the minstrel dude is Tom, right? It's been a while since I've read the books, but they're good. They're good. It's coming. I personally am excited for this 2019 start date in Prague, which means we won't see it probably until 2020, 2021. But as soon as I know more about this, believe me, you guys will know more. I'm going to cover this as much as humanly possible because I really do love the books. And finally today, we're going to get through this story pretty quick. Hulu is about ready to do something so woefully stupid. It's going to jeopardize its 25 million subscribers that it just recently touted out as having. You have to understand, a couple years ago, like 2 years ago, Hulu had like 8 million subscribers. I've been a user of Hulu since 2010 when it became available on my Xbox 360. So I've been around for quite some time. And I do pay for the Hulu Premium that has no commercials because I don't want commercials. I'm willing to pay the extra $4 a month, the extra $36 a year to not have commercials. That being said, Hulu is now planning to run ads when users pause videos. All right? This is real. This isn't an April Fool's Day sort of thing. Hulu is legitimately trying something stupid. I don't think there's any better way to describe it. Now, it says here, Hulu is planning to roll out a new advertising format. The streaming service will soon start testing ads that play when users pause the video, an attempt to target binge watchers who have begun to cut the cord for linear TV in favor of digital streaming. But it probably won't gain them any fans among users who tune into the streaming services explicitly to get away from commercial breaks. So, but here's the way it works though, right? The way it works is there are commercial breaks if you watch Hulu standard $8 a month pricing plan, right? And there's the average too. It's like 4 commercial breaks or whatever. And they're 1 minute to 2 minutes, sometimes 3 minutes long, depending. And they're annoying. It's why I spend the extra $4 a month. So if I'm watching a Hulu show and I pay for no commercials, and I pause it to go take a piss or to go feed my kid or to go do whatever, and then all of a sudden I hear like an ad for Charmin coming on, I'm not going to be very happy. And YouTube's kind of doing this right now with the YouTube Premium. I pay for Premium, which means no ads. I live off of ads, so please don't turn off that pesky ad block, but I still pay for it because it still benefits my friends who may be getting hurt from the adpocalypse, which is a couple years old now. And that's the whole point. That's why I do it. Also background app playing too. That's another thing. But if they were to run ads when I pause a video, I would be very, very upset because that's the stupidest thing on the planet. And even now, there are many times where ads will get through, even though I pay for them not to be turned on. So it says Hulu is beginning testing a new form of advertising. The streaming service will begin showing ads wherever its users pause videos. But those new advertising units won't be a video. The pause screen ads will be similar to a pop-up with an image appearing on screen that acts as a transparent banner ad. The example can be seen down here. And I was right. It was Charmin. I just even totally like that just popped in my head. I must have subliminally looked at that. That's okay. That's not as bad, right? That's not as bad. But let's say you're watching like an emotional scene from a show, whatever. It's like, let's say it's Handmaid's Tale. You know, and Offred is getting ready just to get, I mean, well, you know, brown chicken, brown cow, in whatever capacity you want to look at that from. And then you go, oh, I got to go to the bathroom, and you pause it. And then it's all like Charmin. You're like, you kind of, or it's like, it's a stupid Super Bowl ad, you know, it's like the dude going like Stella, you know, it takes you out of the mood. It's kind of dumb. If you want to have advertisements, run them at the beginning of the show or the end of the show. Doing pop-up ads when you pause is interesting. And the sad truth of this is that, well, quite frankly, it works. Now, the pop-up ad is based on research that it conducted that users have found that consumers generally preferred ads that were subtle and non-intrusive. This is coming from Jeremy Helfand, the vice president and head of advertising platforms for Hulu. It says you really just have a few moments to deliver a message before the viewer will follow through on whatever drove the impulse to pause. It's more like driving by a billboard where you need to get out an effective message and a very succinct in a short amount of time. Coca-Cola and Charmin will be part in the Hulu's pause screen and rollout, with Coca-Cola already taking advantage of the unique format with slogan, "The pause that refreshes." Meanwhile, Charmin seems suited for the pause screen because of its bathroom connection. That's often why people need to pause a show. The ads are expected to roll out in the coming months and will only appear on select content during the trial run. So that's not as bad. That's not as bad, to be fair. And if it's non-intrusive, simple, a pop-up sort of thing, it's not going to bother me. It's not going to bother me. But it's not going to be popular. It's like every time Netflix suggests that it wants to start adding in advertising or commercials. Like I said, just last week I talked about this. A study out of the UK showed that it would lose 57% of its subscribers because people want to get away from commercials. But at the same time, these shows have got to find a way to become profitable. And it's not just membership prices that do it. There's always got to be that little bit extra. Same with video games. It's an unfortunate and terrible business model, but it's where we kind of find ourselves. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, I think Hulu doing this is going to be interesting. And of course, I will definitely report when we hear reports of how many people have started to unsubscribe from Hulu as a result of this particular type of non-obtrusive and subtle advertising. It's going to be a fun year for Hulu, but it's interesting nonetheless because it's always going to kind of go this way. I mean, either they raise their prices or you deal with this. You know, and Hulu also lowered their prices, by the way. Did you know that? And that might be why they're lowering their prices to justify having this type of ad revenue or this type of ad source that comes in. So anyway, we'll have to wait to see what happens, but I don't expect the results to be good. All right. We are good. We're done for that. And I got 20 minutes to go. So if you guys got, let's see, anyone email, anyone call in? All right. Let's see. Okay, a couple emails here. Rachel sent one in asking, do I think Disney will regret firing James Gunn in the long run? I think, Rachel, they already do regret firing James Gunn. It was not a move that any of them wanted to do. You could tell by the way they've talked about it. It was a move they felt they had to do. It was a move that they felt that they absolutely positively had to in order to like protect, I don't know, their sensibility or some shit. It ultimately doesn't matter. It ultimately isn't a thing anyone's going to care about. And at the end of the day, all it did is just kind of hurt the brand. They should have just said, look, he acknowledges his past mistakes. He issued an apology and you move on from there. You move on from there. I mean, hell, Bryan Singer fired off of Bohemian Rhapsody for Me Too allegations, essentially, and misconduct or something on set or disruptions on set. The movie goes on to become Best Picture nominated. And he's gonna make $40 million off the movie and its success, because it's like over 800 million worldwide. It's the most popular biopic ever. And then he's still attached to direct Red Sonja. So, you know, I mean, Hollywood needs to like not care what middle America thinks as much. Because here's the thing, middle America might be where people go see movies, but people justify entertainment anywhere. And people don't really do that kind of boycott over this crap. They really don't. I'm not talking the Bryan Singer crap. That's some pretty serious allegations and whatever. He's denied it. You know what's funny too is there was an allegation made against him by a guy named Michael Egan. And I want to say like it was around April 2014. They came out and they accused him, Bryan Singer, of rape and sexual assault in Hawaii. That Egan was 17. They flew him to Hawaii. Bryan Singer assaulted him there. It was this whole big thing leading up to the release of X-Men Days of Future Past. And the thing is, the dates that Michael Egan provided, Bryan Singer was able to prove that he was, and this is like in 1999, that he was in Toronto filming X-Men at the time. So there's been conflicting information and evidence in regards to accusations levied against Bryan Singer. But most people look at him and they think, oh yeah, he's a bad guy. I don't know if he is or isn't. There's been no trial. There's been no jury. There's been no judge. There's been no executioner. All there are allegations that have ultimately tended to go away. And I don't know if this has anything to do with Hollywood protecting its own. I would hope not in regards of this type of serious allegation, but that's where things are. So yeah, thanks for that one. All right. So we got Reed here sends an email. Have you heard about the Minecraft movie? There was a director for it, but it looks like it's not happening. Yeah, Rob McElhenney was going to be directing it. I think writing and directing it. That's Mac from It's Always Sunny Philadelphia. And he's a funny dude. He's a really funny guy. He was going to be directing it and then it fell through. I mean, keep in mind that they announced the Minecraft movie like back in 2015. So it's been a while. That movie was supposed to come out. I'm surprised that it hasn't happened yet, to be fair. I mean, Microsoft paid $2 billion for the property. You figure they'd want to crank out a movie. The Minecraft story mode did pretty well, so much so that Netflix got it and turned it into an interactive story on the platform. You know, so there's they should have gone and done that. I don't know. There's a new guy. Who's the new guy directing it? There's a new guy. There's a new director. Let's see here. All right. I thought there was a new director. Shit, maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know. I know they're rewriting the screenplay. Maybe there's something here I can find. Let's see. Oh, no. Okay. Yeah. They just got a new director. Peter Sollett has been tapped to direct the movie. His previous projects include Raising Victor Vargas, Freeheld, 5 Feet High, and Rising. He will both write and direct the movie. So this dude, who I've never heard of, who did what appears to be straight-to-video films. Let's see. Raising Victor Vargas. This is the plot synopsis here. On New York's Lower East Side, Dominican teen and aspiring ladies' man Victor Vargas has nothing but girls on his mind. Though he talks a big game at a local pool, Vargas's true experience amounts to nothing more than a string of romance rejections. After he fails to improve his abysmal relations or reputation by baiting an overnight classmate, he chooses a much more difficult path. The stunning and stuck-up Judy Ramirez. Okay, it had a budget of $800 million. Sorry, $800,000. Sounds all right, I guess. It's an American comedy drama. So, I don't know. I do not know. That guy's going to be doing something or other. But I think they got him because he's cheap. But I think they got him because he's expendable, if I'm being honest. I think it's like, well, if the movie fails, we hired a nobody director. Jokes on us sort of thing. But we'll get a better one for the next time. So there's that. Yeah, Me Shark, I got your email. You sent it to the wrong email though, man. And that's like, you sent me like 20 questions. So I'm not going to get to those right now. That's a lot of questions. Try to keep it short. But I got a couple, all right. Okay. Couple voicemails here. Couple of voicemails to get through. Let's dive into it, man.
Hey, Matt, you requested 30-second versions, so I'll try to get this out as fast as possible. I think that Disney really should, look at their live-action division, because a lot of their movies that have been coming out through live-action have not been doing well at the box office, like A Wrinkle in Time or, Nutcracker in the Four Realms or their Tomorrowland film. If it's not a live-action remake, even though I don't really care for a lot of their live-action remakes, it doesn't usually do well at the box office. I really do think they should reevaluate, like who's running their live-action division and try to get better quality out of original projects so that they don't constantly remake classic Disney films. We don't need a live-action Lilo and Stitch.
No, we don't need a live-action Lilo and Stitch, but we are going to get a live-action Lilo and Stitch. No, I agree with you. Their live-action films have been really hit or miss. Even the last couple Pirates are pretty bad. I liked them, but they were, they weren't the best things ever. But you're right. They're the Nutcracker in the Four Realms, dead on arrival. A Wrinkle in Time crashed and burned, predominantly because I believe they took away the Christian element to the story. And that really hurt the people talking about the adaptation. Whether or not you are a person who believes in God or Christ, having a story. I mean, imagine taking out the God from both Raiders of the Lost Ark and The Last Crusade. It wouldn't work. Just wouldn't work. You can have God in there without being preachy about it. That's the thing. That's the thing. But Ava DuVernay took it out, and the movie tanked as a result. And yet Warner Brothers hired her to make the New Gods. So that's going to be a fun one. Yeah, and Tomorrowland, again, well, Tomorrowland I think it suffered from a Memorial Day release. Like I've talked about multiple times in regards to Solo, Memorial Day has just been a bad weekend for 4 years now. And Aladdin opening up on Memorial Day this year, not going to change anything, considering the fact that what else comes before it in May is going to be pretty huge. Look, it opens up after John Wick Chapter 3, Detective Pikachu. It's going to be a month after Avengers Endgame. They're not expecting Aladdin to be $1 billion movie. Dumbo and Lion King probably are. But yes, I believe the person in charge of the Disney movie studio is Alan Horn, who also called for James Gunn to be fired. So get rid of Alan Horn. There we go on that one, right? All right, we got another one here from Eddie.
Hey, Matt, Eddie Volution again. So, Ghostbusters 3. Now, I'm very excited that they're finally bringing us the movie we all wanted. But I think there is a little speed bump that we've run into recently as far as casting. Now, these are just rumors, and I think this is just an audition. This is coming from like an audition, and it's a 12-year-old actress whose name I forget, but she's auditioning for one of the new recruits. And I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, 'cause I don't know if this is basically Sony, giving us what we want only to fuck us over and say, okay, we're going to finally give you what you want, but under one condition, and this is that condition. What do you make of the whole casting decision, the whole casting news, if you read about it? What are your thoughts on it? Because I'm a little worried now after seeing this. I mean, it could work. I mean, Stranger Things Season 2 worked with that little concept, but I would prefer this being its own thing. What do you think, man? I apologize for the rambling, but just wanted to get that out there. And, yeah, take care, man.
All right. So Ghostbusters 3, thank you again, Eddie, for calling in. Ghostbusters 3 is one that, I don't have an issue with this young person casting thing, right? I just don't have an issue with it. I don't care. To me, it's all about the story, right? So again, okay, let me kind of look at it like this. Like Ghostbusters 2016, when we learned about that was from the Sony hack. We learned about the plot to the film, what Paul Feig wanted, that Amy Pascal contacted him 3 times, essentially like, Paul, baby, booby, honey, darling, kiddo, pal, make the movie. I need to do the Ghostbusters. And I don't want to do Ivan Reitman, because she actively screwed over Ivan Reitman and brought in Paul Feig. So we know that. We know that they did all that stuff, right? So that was bad. And then they attacked the fans, and that was bad. So this is different. You got to understand, this is different here. Okay. This movie is going to be aimed at a younger audience, because I would argue that Jason Reitman's coming at it from when he was a kid and that perspective. Remember, we all grew up watching Ghostbusters. Means that when we were kids, we watched Ghostbusters. Well, kids these days are going to watch Ghostbusters and grow up with whatever this new one is. So they're probably aiming to have it be a little bit more like that. Now, the thing is, I don't have much of an issue with it. But if they are going to be hiring teens to kind of come on in, it does make me wonder if at this point, it really all boils down to Ray Stantz. Ghostbusters as a business is closed down. He's retired to his family's farm. He has the original Ecto-1, and he's just kind of a hermit, and they have to go seek him out because they need ghosts. It could be kind of a very standalone-ish sort of thing where it's not, set in New York City, where they take it out of the city. And that could be good or it could be bad. Again, this is not like Paul Feig saying, let's add in a dance number. This is Jason Reitman, whose father directed the first 2 movies, who grew up with this shit. So I would argue that I'm not against it. And I don't think Sony has much play in this one, as you might think. This is all Ghost Core. This is what they've been working on for a couple of years. They've been really developing this. So I think they're going to be knocking. I think they're going to do their best to knock it out of the park. And I'm going to wait till I know more. Here's the thing. I talked all the crap in the world about Ghostbusters. I still went and saw it opening night. I had to see, and I was proven right. And I think this one is going to be one of those ones that's going to be pretty good. So I appreciate your call. Thank you very much. All right, we got another one here.
I'm telling you, Deadpool 3 is going to be Deadpool gets his hand on the Infinity Gauntlet and kills the entire universe, thus allowing them to reboot all the Marvel characters with new actors. Later.
Curtis. Yeah. I know. You want that to happen. You've talked about that before in the Discord. And then of course, I think you also, you called in here again. I got another one here from another email, from Umair, Rice, right. I'm going to screw up your name, dude. You gotta tell me how to say it phonetically so I don't screw it up. So here, do I think Paul Feig and his crew have gone into girl power overload? They keep bashing the new Ghostbusters film. They're defensive over their movie. And I get that. I get that entirely. They're defensive over their movie. They want to, protect it. I understand. I'm not mad at them for that or anything. What it really does boil down to here though, is that, their movie was not received well. And they've had a lot of trouble letting that go. They've had a lot of trouble moving on, and that's only going to follow them. The more they attack this movie, the more it shows you that they are super insecure over the one they released a couple of years ago. That movie bombed. Not bombed, but it wasn't as good as it could have been. It didn't do as well as it could have done. And it ultimately left, Sony holding the bag and going, ooh, we have egg on our face. We should probably give the fans what they want. Had Paul Feig come out and said, look, we tried our best. This is what it was. The fans would have been more receptive. The fans still would have bitched about the movie, right? But the thing is, you take it on the chin and you go, look, I'm sorry you didn't like it. We tried. Hopefully they'll do it better the next time. And then that's where it's at. You leave it. Now, that would be goodwill with the fans. That would be goodwill with the fans, and they wouldn't be upset. Same with with Star Wars. Just come out and say, yeah, we realize that there's an issue. We realize that there's a thing. We're going to do better next time. That's all you have to say. That's all you have to say. Fans are really forgiving if you acknowledge that you understand why they're not happy, that you made mistakes. They're super forgiving. But when you come out and you attack them, you're just you an idiot. Get yourself hurt. All right, so we'll do one more phone call here, and this from Curtis again. It's real short because he calls in. He's got this number on speed dial. I swear to God.
This is not President Cheeto, and I really think that this Wheel of Time show is going to be huge, like 230 seasons worth of huge. There's going to be an entire season of nothing but the best scene between Avienda and Elaine. Talk to you later, man. Bye.
It's going to be big. There's 14 books in Wheel of Time. They get progressively longer, and they get progressively more complex, and they get progressively crazier as time goes on. So what you have to remember about this here is that, it's going to be a wild movie, TV show. I'm hoping they eventually turn it into a big ass movie. Yes, you do have it saved into your Hangouts, Tyler. That's right. So anyway, that's emails and questions. I wanted to spend time with that today. So if you guys got questions here in the chat, let's take those real quick. We got about 5 minutes left, and then I got to run. So fill me in. Let me see if there's anything here that I missed. Am I excited for Stranger Things 3? Do I think what's going to happen in the Starcourt Mall? I think Stranger Things 3 is going to have a lot to do with the mall. I don't quite know what yet, but obviously the Demogorgon and whatever the Mind Flayer, that thing's going to come back. Whatever new thing they're going to bring in for season 3 is going to be there. I personally can't wait. I'm hoping that there's a trailer for the Super Bowl this weekend so I can freaking lose my shit over that. And then also, use it as an excuse to rewatch season 1 and season 2. I still will find myself in the middle of the night. If I want to creep myself out a little bit, I pop on a 10-hour loop of the theme song on YouTube. I listen to that. I'm very much excited for it. Yeah. Nerd Report. My buddy Lewis is here. Lewis got to go see Alita Battle Angel today. That motherfucker got to go see Alita Battle Angel. He says it's good. Says it's pretty solid. 3D is good. Made his friend cry, who happens to enjoy the manga. And I said that correctly this time. Let's see here. He says, according to the Hollywood Reporter, Zack Snyder and his wife are producing, partner Deborah Snyder are acting as executive producers on Gunn's Suicide Squad. That is, yes, I saw that. I forgot to mention that in there. What does that even mean? What does that mean, man? What the hell is up with that? Oh yeah, no, Zack Snyder, he's been out for a while now. The way that DC treated him in regards to Justice League, whatever. And now he's going to be a producer on there. What the hell? I don't get it. It might be because it's Suicide Squad. Zack Snyder was still a producer on, was he a producer on Aquaman? Yeah, no, he was an exec producer on Aquaman, I believe. So he might be tied to the property. He might be tied to it contractually. So it'll be interesting to see if he's an executive producer on Shazam or what comes after that. If he's an executive producer on the Joker. So it could just be that contractually, these are the movies he's tied to. The next Batman movie, he'll be an executive producer on that one. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But if he's on board creatively, I'm down. I think I like Zack Snyder's work in the DCEU. I would have loved for it to continue that trajectory. I'm not opposed to making my thoughts and my opinions on that known. I have defended Man of Steel for nearly 6 years. I've defended Batman v Superman for almost 3 years. I will continue to do so because I continue to love those movies. Let's see here. What do I think of John Krasinski for Batman? I I mean, I haven't seen him as Jack Ryan yet. I want to see him as Reed Richards, though. Yeah, I can't get that image out of my head. That fan image, I can't get that out of my head. I think that's all him. Do I think Suicide Squad 2 will be better than the first film? Yes. Yes, I do. I think that Gunn's writing and directing and voice will do great things for it. I also feel that it will be better received than the first movie. Although I do like the first movie and I do love David Ayer, I can understand why people don't like it, and I can understand why this next one's going to be better. But yeah, I think it's going to be better, provided less studio interference. So you have a feeling about Alita Battle Angel. You think it's gonna flop. I have a feeling that's gonna happen too. But I hope that it picks up. I hope that it's a Valentine's Day release of a kick-ass female lead. I think some ladies are gonna be having their boyfriends drag them to go see. It's got kind of something for everyone. It's got a kick-ass chick in the lead who's part cyborg. So it's like she's basically a walking, talking fleshlight and who can kill people. And then she, so guys are going to like that. Girls are going to like that. And it's perfect date movie. Do I think Tarantino will drop this trailer for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood at the Super Bowl? When's the next big Sony release? Because it's a Sony movie. So they could do it, considering it comes out in July, I believe. So there'd be enough time for a teaser. But I'm hoping for a trailer soon enough, since they're starting to release some pictures. We're going to get a trailer pretty soon. Let's see. Zack Snyder and James Gunn make a good combo. Dawn of the Dead was great. Yes, I agree. I would love to see Zack Snyder direct a James Gunn script. I would love to see that. Because Dawn of the Dead is still, I think, the best zombie movie in the last 20, 30 years. With the exception of like 28 Days Later. Because let's be fair, 28 Days Later is awesome. Let me ask you guys a question real quick. Those 44 of you that are here right now, I want you guys to press 1 on the chat. If you would like to see a podcast from me, not every day, but like on the weekends, where I get a guest and we go over an actor's filmography or a director's filmography and we discuss the movies and like the critical breakdowns and the financial successes of it and our opinions of their work. That's an idea that I had the other night, to just kind of like a more of an interactive, fun podcast to discuss what we love about movies. Cause that's kind of my take here on this channel. And I just want to know, kind of feel it out there if that's something you guys would like to see. Let's see. Do I watch Riverdale? No, I do not watch Riverdale. I haven't. Which DC films come out in 2020 besides Wonder Woman 19? I don't know. They've got a DC. They got a slate. Let me take a look at that real quick. DCEU 2020. Okay. Well. Oh, Birds of Prey comes out 2020 as well as Wonder Woman. They say a possible Black Adam movie if they shoot this year. I don't know. And then, we now know that Batman was be coming out in 2021. Okay, yes, you guys seem to like that idea. Curtis apparently really likes it. Times 10 squared in infinity, I'm guessing. Cool. I need to find a co-host then for that. We'll figure that one out. That would be pretty good. All right, guys, it's currently 6:02 p.m. I need to get going, but I appreciate everyone coming in and everything. You guys can always call in to the voicemail line if you want to get your voice featured on the show at 818-350-3281. That's 818-350-3281. Or you can email us at 3bucktheater@gmail.com. And again, that's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can reach out to the show and possibly get your question or comment featured at the end of the news segments. Again, if you have news you want me to cover directly, same thing, email me, check it out. I'll be back on tomorrow night. Once again, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I greatly appreciate it. I'll see you tomorrow. Have yourself a great day.